Perfect. Now we wait for the for the computer to confirm that it is live. Okay, I think we. It looks like we are live. Let me just check on my phone to see that there's not just on my. You see it? Okay, cool. Hello and welcome to That Beautiful Life podcast. This is episode 222 of That Beautiful Life podcast. My name, of course, is Curtis Campbell, sitting here in the beautiful Reading, United Kingdom, talking to the beautiful Roger Bergstrom, all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. Rog, how are you doing on this fine, hot Wednesday afternoon? hmm Yeah. Yeah. It's also, I think they said it's gonna rain on the weekend here in the UK. I don't know about Sweden, but we're expecting rain and then another heat wave after that. At least that. Yeah, it's a we'll see kind of thing. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm, I- I'm. I think for me, I'm just gonna take the things that I remember the most or probably the most impactful things, the most prevalent aspects of my past couple of weeks. And I think probably one of the biggest ones is oh, you got a glass of water, don't you? Oh, you're lucky. Oh, I wish I had a glass of water. Um, you know what? I was literally, honestly, I was like, I should have gotten a glass of water. I was doing the most irresponsible thing. I was sitting and watching a video about Max Verstappen, like on YouTube. Yeah, I was just watching a video of a Channel 4 UK reporter pranking Max Verstappen, pretending to be a taxi driver, and it was so interesting. I was just like, I put it on before, and I was like, oh, I'll finish it before the podcast starts. But I had a few things I had to do. No, I had something to do for Ty, and then yeah, it's kind of like threw me off a bit. But anyway, the point that's this beyond the point. Um, so yeah, it's generally so the missus is gone again. Um, so she has gone back to New York. She's gone back home, sort of. She is with her gran, helping house and all that kind of stuff. I think we mentioned that in previous episodes and so forth. So she's over there right now. It's just me and the boys. Ty has had Ty has I think like I spoke to you. Ty has he's had some difficult days, but he's also had some better days. So he started to make some improvement. He's making it through the day at least, so that's good. Whereas at one point he literally wouldn't make it before the end. Like I'd get a phone call from the school to come get him. Like I don't know, like minutes. There was one day I literally just dropped him off, and then the school called me. Like I dropped him off. I got back home. My phone rang. Come. I was literally. I was like, bloody hell. Yeah, it was that. It was literally like no more than 10 minutes had passed or something. 10 or 20 minutes had passed, and I was back in the school. And usually, so how his school is set up, usually they lock the back gate because there's like three entrances to the school, right? And they usually lock all the entrances except the front entrance because the back entrance it sort of like connects to the area where the kids go to play and all this sort of stuff. So generally they lock that entrance, which my house is near that entrance for his school. So it's nearer to the back entrance. So for me, if I need to get to the front entrance, I need to go all the way around to get to the front entrance. So it's quite a long trip to have to take. So generally, I tend to avoid having to take that trip, and usually whenever I get called in, I have to make that trip. But the teachers, like, I guess they felt sorry for me for the amount of times that they had to call me in. That they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll get the grounds man to come in and like open the gate for you in the back. And I was like, oh, thank you, like bloody hell. Um, it does help, but yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on that. I think, as I said, like he started to settle in a bit more. I think me being home has helped. I think I mentioned before previously that I did lose my job, and that has meant I've been home for the past month, and I've been home, so we've been spending time together. I've been able to drop him off in the morning, pick him up in the afternoon, and I think that that's helped him regulate himself. I think that's helped him sort of like get that comfort that he feels knowing that I'm there. And yeah, and I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to see like his behavior. Even like today, he had a school trip, so we went down to Bournemouth, down to the beach, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, he was well behaved. The teachers were like, "Look, wow, he was so well behaved. Great. He had a great day, and all that kind of stuff." And again, I think it's just, in his defense, having your parents around kind of helps a young child regulate themselves, I guess. So for me being around, that's made it easier, as well as the fact that Alex has been calling every day, which is something she hadn't done the first time she went to New York because of, you know, logistical reasons. By the time she called, he was asleep. So now she's making a very considered effort to just call. I was like, you want the what? The beach without? Yes, Chris, I did go to the beach without you, bro. It was it was nice. It was really, really nice. Honestly, it was a gorgeous beach. Chris, next time you come visiting, we gotta hit it up. Come in the summer. Come in the summer. Definitely come in the summer. It is hot. Really? What was it about? What were you guys talking about? Hmm.
So I actually shared my thoughts with him a bit. And he was, oh, that sounds really cool, So he kind of knew about it because he and his wife, I mean, they're older than me and Annalie also, they're not working any longer. And they have a beautiful summer house not too far from Stockholm. And they're thinking about maybe like move there, being like permanent there,
Hmm.
meaning selling the house here. So we'll see about that. That's their decision. But then I started to say, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. You're going to move to Tobago. I told you, you have a boat. I know it's going to be a long trip, but you're going to get your boat over there.
You
So
know what?
I was like fooling around with him. Oh,
But
you can't hear Roger again.
yeah, that's the thing is, Roger. Usually before we start, I do a sound check. I didn't do it this time, and
Oh,
when I checked, I noticed, wait a minute, there's no audio coming from you. So I fixed it in
oops.
between what you were saying. So
Okay, okay. Well, sorry for that. Then I hope you guys.
you're apologizing. I'm the one that's supposed to check that stuff. So
True. Checklist once more.
I
Yeah.
apologize
Then
for
I don't
that.
know what I've said that you have missed, but yeah,
I think there's
whatever.
not much. I don't think there's much outside of the because at the beginning it was more me talking about it was more me talking about the stuff with regards
True.
to what do you call it?
Well, this
Um
the yeah. Well, Alex is in New York now. You're with Ty. You went on the school trip, stuff like that, and then we
yeah,
got
so
into the beach talk, and
yeah.
then
So
yeah.
we went to Bournemouth, really nice beach, gorgeous. Absolutely had a great day. Ty and I just sort of like he played with his friends and did, kid stuff, the things that kids do. He got soaked because I took him down. They said, well, for the kids that had their parents with them, they were allowed to go down to the water. It was the parents' choice essentially. And I decided I want to take him down to the water, so I took him down there, and him and one of his friends from school. But that friend had his mom as well, so we went down together, and and basically the water started coming in, and first it was just his legs, and then Eventually, the water knocked him over, and he was just so sad. At that point, it was like,
Okay.
dude, you're just gonna have to just like get in the water. I was up to my thighs in the water, so it was interesting. It was an interesting sort of like thing. I think generally it was a really nice day. We got some ice cream. It was a little bit expensive. I think I spent 30 quid at the beach buying.
No, okay.
I
Yeah.
had to buy flip flops and stuff. You know, you know, I didn't plan for flip flops. I thought, oh, he'll just walk around in the sand with his feet, because that's what I would usually do in Trinidad. I'd just walk around with my feet. But the sand was really hot. It was extremely hot.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
And so, yeah, I sort of walked around the sand. And I should preface before we continue on, for those of you that are here to hear us talk about House of Dragons season 2, we'll get to that in a sec. We're sort of like catching up with each other about our week, and then we will get into that. So some of you may probably come in here thinking, oh, this is going to be a full video about House of Dragons. It's not. It's just one of the topics that we're going to talk about. And more Rog, because I've not seen that show. I just wanted to say that just in case someone comes in and this is their first time checking out the podcast. They don't know, and they're like, bloody hell, they're not talking about House of Dragon. We will get to House of Dragon season 2. But just let us sort of do our weekly catch up, and then we'll get into that. But yeah, generally it's been fine. We've been good. Things have been okay. It's been, you know, things at home, things with the boys, a bit hectic, making preparations for next week. I'll catch you up about next week, off podcast, Rog. I'll catch you guys up about next week. So
yeah,
so,
small delay, but it's gonna happen for sure.
Yes, you guys will find out next week. Rog will find out after the show. But generally, that my week has been the last 2 weeks have been okay, and yeah, can't complain at all. What about you, Rog? How have your last 2 weeks? I mean, you guys had Midsummers. That's one part of it, yeah.
Oh yes, that's a part that is definitely one of the main things I wanted to talk about. First, I just wanted to mention that I had a bit of a weird experience, like the days before Midsummer's Eve. I think I told you, I've talked about the fact that I'm kind of injured when it comes to my arm or arms, and you know, examinations, stuff like that. And I was about to go and try to do the second try, you might say, when it comes to doing an MR scan. It was another hospital, and the weird thing is, I got there. You know, you like you do like a digital check-in, whatever, not, and it didn't work. I was like,
really?
what's going on? Yeah, so I went to the reception when it comes to the department regarding the x-ray and everything, talked to nice nurse there. She was like, wait, I'm gonna check this and blah, 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 computer stuff. You don't have a time here. Like, you don't have a booking. I was like, what? No. Yeah, but I do. And then I showed her, like, through the app, because I think I've said it before. We have, like, very often here, I live in Sweden, there's an app where a lot of these things are going through, so you have to keep track on that, otherwise you might miss things, which I've done once. So I was really like, oh, I'm not gonna miss everything. I'm keeping track on this, you know. And the time was still there. There was no like, yeah, it was there in the app. And I showed her, and she was like, this is really weird. And she started to speculate, maybe they've done it from the other hospital, or maybe it's your doctor, but she hasn't told you. And of course, now it's summertime, like, obviously, and a lot of people are on vacation. My doctor, well, I say my doctor is coming back, I think, next week. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait. And I think I'm going to talk with her no matter what, because there are some tests I'm going to do. So, but that was weird and not good, of course. I mean, I had to go all the way into the city, and since I've told you, I have not looked forward to do this again. So it was like a mental thing. I really prepared. Okay, this time I know how to think about it, and I'm going to do it. So, you know, and then like, no, there's no book in here for you, blah, 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 blah. So that was kind of weird. But besides that, again, the weather, we just talked about it early on here, has been good. It's been really nice weather, and now it's really hot, like 30 degrees or something.
Hot, bro.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's 28 for us.
Yeah. You know, it's around there. I saw it over the UK as well, when it comes to the forecast. I wanted to talk a bit about Midsummer's Eve. Midsummer's Eve is a big thing here in Sweden, celebrating. Well, nowadays it's mostly meeting friends and family, eating food. There are some special, like certain foods we eat during the lunch, but like salted herring and things like that. And yeah. And then we what we have done, and this is the fun part, we have some friends, me and my wife, that we have been knowing for many, many years. I would say from late when we moved down, or I came down to Stockholm 1987. It's so long time ago. And she moved up from south part of Sweden, and that's how we met. We talked about that, and we got some friends due to where we lived at that point of time, and those friends are still sticking around, so apparently we've done something right. And one of the friends, like the couple, Jonas and Sia, they have a house out in the archipelago, by the sea. It's actually his parents' like summer house that they have like taken over, sort of. And they just told us, this was last Friday, told us during the Midsummer's Eve celebration that we have done this now as a tradition together. We are like 4 couples, 5 sometimes. And actually Adam, my oldest son, has been there. He wasn't there this time, but we've done it for like 11 years in a row. Wow. That's pretty darn cool. It's not that often you have those long traditions. So it was really nice. It was not that warm. It was like 18 degrees, which was kind of nice in a way, because last year it was really hot. So we had the lunch there. What happens is we have to drive like 1.5, 2 hours, right, with the car. Really small roads at the end, parking the car. And Jonas comes with the boat and picks us up. So, and then it's like only 6 minutes ride with the boat, and we get to this small island, and then we're there. And it's like 2 houses, so it's quite big. So it's a lot of, space, for people to, beds and stuff when it comes to sleeping over there. So, and of course, this year, this was the first year I didn't take a bath, because there's a beautiful sauna down by the water. It's really nice. In the evening, we sit there like talk and just sit there. I didn't take a bath this time. It was too cold for me, like the ocean. Hasn't really had the time to become warmer. It will, but not yet. Maybe next week. But so I kind of chilled. There was a lot of mosquitoes in the evening. But we have a great dinner too. Jonas is he's hunting. He's hunting. So he had taken down a deer, actually, and he was barbecuing parts of this deer, and he's really good at that, and it was so good. So yeah, some good wine, beer, whatever have you, a lot of conversations as mentioned. And we also have a tradition, me and Maria
Yes.
Grönlund, you've met her, and her husband Magnus, who is very nice, a really, really good classic guitarist. And the tradition is that after like late down there by the ocean, we smoke. So he has a pipe. Sometimes I have borrowed his second pipe, like this. But I was smoking, the thinner version of a cigar, not like this fat Havana cigar, but the cigarette, I think it's called. It's like a smaller, thinner thing. Yeah. So yeah, we were smoking there. It has to be done. It's every year. so like, now it's really, really cool. It's nice. So nice time with good friends, and we stayed a bit longer the day after, like Saturday. Had a lunch there before we went home. Isaac, my youngest son, was spending time with friends here in our house,
partying. Just had like 50 people in the house. Music was banging. The neighbors were complaining.
We're 4, but they were not 4. They were 40.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
Not really. And then my oldest son Adam, he went out also, close to the ocean. Actually, it's one of his colleagues at the gaming studio that has I think his mom has this nice house also. So they were like 9 people there, about the same amount of people we were. Also, when it comes to celebrating Midsummer's Eve, last year we were 16, so it's kind of a difference, from 16 down to 9.
Hopefully next time I will be able to pop over. I mean, life has been a bit hectic for me right now, so I haven't had the sort of like possibility to travel. But hopefully next year things are a bit more stable and I'm able to actually travel. to come over because it would be
Yeah,
fun. I
some
mean,
Midsummer Eve. You know what we did? We did the old tradition because Jonas and Sia they are also into that. So they had this midsummer tree, if that makes sense. That you're putting flowers on it. It's very decorated. And I think you've seen it.
yeah,
And it's still speculations whether it's an old way of showing this. How
it's
do
a
you say? It's
phallic
like a
symbol.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I mean that's what we accepted as. I mean.
Exactly. So we carry that. We carry that. We sing. We dance around it. It's very like a very hedonic ritual, to be honest. But
Brilliant.
it's fun. So of course, yeah. If you would be here during that time, like next year, that would be really really cool. I think it would be a cool experience for you. But yeah, so there you go. That's basically almost been my thing. I've been working. It's also been good. Finally, I got some more sales when it comes to music. It kind of popped here just
Love it.
3 weeks in a row. Yeah, you never know, but apparently it did. Also interesting when you see so different genres. It doesn't really, it could be very different genres and also some older tracks that has been sold, which also means that it is important to continue to upload and grind also with these things. I also, I say, Miss A&R, I hope you're fine. I know where you are. I hope you're fine in the Big Apple. Yeah, bright on both your sides. Between 35 to 42 Celsius in the US. Oh yeah, it's hot over there as well. I can imagine.
Hot tamale. Like
Yeah.
I was literally having a conversation with one of Ty's teachers earlier about like the temperature and stuff like that. I think I was having a conversation as well with my sister about it as well. It's like when it's hot here, it's different than in the Caribbean because in the Caribbean, at least in Trinidad, you have the wind that tends to move over the island a lot easier. I think here in the UK, because it's such a big island, you tend to have not like in where we are, it just sits, like the heat just stays there. Even on the beach, I didn't feel like a lot of sea breeze. It just felt like heat, whereas in TT you'd have that sea breeze, that ocean breeze coming in that cools the land near the sea, so you can walk around near the beaches and feel that cool air. Didn't really feel that, but it's nice. Yeah. Still is. So we've got some hot days. Raj, anything else out of the week, or should we jump into some Tele?
No, I think this was the essential parts. So let's get into stuff.
Let's go straight into the topic. That is the title of this episode, which is watching House of Dragons season 2. Is it worth watching House of Dragons season 2? I haven't watched House of Dragons. This is a Game of Thrones spin-off, right? Following, if I'm correct, it follows the Targaryen family line.
Yes.
Right. And for season 1, I didn't hear a lot of good things about season 1, so I just never got into it, even though I liked Game of Thrones. Excluding the last season, of course. Last season was terrible. But I sort of said, yeah, I'll take a pass on this one for now. How is it? Is it better? Is it worth it? Do I need to start making notes and considering this as something I want to watch, or do I sit on the fence?
That's a good. Sorry. That's a very good question. I haven't really. I don't know. I'm. Let me put it like this: it's not Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones. It has that kind of spirit, of course. It's in that universe. As you pointed out, it's about the House Targaryen foremost, and it's 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen that we know from like Game of Thrones, or the history when it comes to Game of Thrones. So it's very, very separate, if you will. It's an internal succession war within the House of Targaryen. It is exciting. I think that it started a bit slow. I think, though, it's also this typical thing we talked about before. You watch a series, a season, and then it's so long before the next time it comes around, like season 2, that you almost forget what you have been watching.
Yeah, you got to rewatch.
Yeah, of course it was, they showed us like a reminder in the beginning and everything. And I kind of needed that. I think everyone, both me and also Isaac, Isaac and Annalie that are watching it from home here. But yeah, it was a bit partly slow. But I think it's building up pretty okay. I think the story is interesting enough, at least for me, to continue, if that makes sense, to look forward to the next episode. To be honest with you, after the podcast, we might look into the newest episode.
Oh.
I mean, when we started to talk about the series, I had only watched like one episode, and now we're up to, what is it, like the third one or fourth? So yeah, it is. I think it's if you enjoyed Game of Thrones, it might be worth catching up and watch this for sure. That I can say. I don't know how much I don't want to get into much about the, it's easy to spoil stuff. Sometimes I feel that, I mean, there are some interesting plots here and intrigues, if you will. And I think they have started to come forward a bit more now, which means that I don't fall asleep when I'm watching the series. If that makes sense. We talked about that also, the soap. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see the next episode, to be honest with you. I think right now on my radar, and apparently I'm watching it, is House of the Dragon. And I mean, it pops a 8.4 on IMDb, so apparently they're doing something right. But I'm also looking forward to watch the newer episodes when it comes to The Boys. I mean, those are the two that has been like, this I want to watch,
When is The Boys new episodes coming out? Is it out already, or is that?
I don't know. I just talked about it today, actually. I said there should be a new episode, but I'm not sure. I mean, I've watched the first two, I believe. So I guess there's a third one. Maybe someone knows that are watching or listening to this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check, because I've watched the first few seasons of The Boys, but
yeah,
I don't know if the next season has started yet, to be honest. And just like
yeah, it has. I mean, again, it started quite recently.
Okay, so
and we watched 2 episodes. I think I mentioned it last time, or 2 weeks ago, and it's good. It's The Boys. It just goes from left to right within a split second.
Okay. Somehow I must have forgotten
dust
that,
on
though.
the wall.
I guess I must have forgotten that you mentioned it, because I'm seeing 4 episodes. Is that correct? June the 18th?
Yeah, it should be, because we have been watching. Again, I think we have been watching 2 or 3, so it should be 4 now. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I know what I'm watching tonight.
It's almost it's almost in the same rhythm as House of the Dragon right now.
Yeah, right.
When it comes to when they are releasing the episode. So those 2 are quite hot. I actually, for the sake of the podcast, and also me being a Star Wars fan, I did watch the newest episode also regarding Acolyte. I've already been talking about that series. I'm doing my best, bro. I'm really doing my best. But this episode, episode 5, I guess now, it was finally some action, and some good action, and a bit more action than not like just a bit. That was good for the series. It was good take. But it's still the script and how they treat it, and of course some of the acting. It does not convince me. I'm sorry.
I can't touch
it's
myself.
Also, bro, when you get a bit like annoying with 1 or 2 of the characters, and it's really hard to not let go of that thought.
Yeah.
And then you see that they are continuously doing some bad moves or mistake, or just running from the scene. So people are dying because of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, these are the main characters. Come on, give them a brain.
Yep. Yep. It's, again, I just think Disney has ruined Star Wars, and
to a certain extent, I think so too.
I don't have a lot of hope for the series. I've just got to a point where I'm just disconnected from Star Wars at the moment. A big fan still, like like my brother-in-law, he was watching episode 3 the other night. I walked in. I think it was in the day. I walked in into his room, and he had Star.
You're still talking Acolyte, or
no, Star Wars episode 3, like the classic.
Okay, sorry.
And I was like,
the OG.
I was like, "Are you watching Star Wars?" He's like, "Yeah. I'm rewatching some of the old." And I'm like, "That's the stuff, though. That's the good stuff." With the Acolyte, it's kind of like, ugh, like it's not that good.
Nah, it becomes one of the we talked about it last time 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
They've done so many series now that it starts to become a bit like over,
It's
it's too
saturating.
much. It's too
Yeah.
much, oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done a few good ones. I mean, I've told you way back that I enjoyed The Mandalorian, for example, for many reasons. But this is just
Mm.
no. I think Andor was better too. But it's
It's a pass.
I can understand if some guys like the. Maybe you watching us now or enjoying the Acolyte. But that's good for you. For me, not really. The Acolyte, by the way, is on. If we haven't said it before, it's on Disney Plus. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching Evil, Misainor. I do not know what
Mm.
that is, but I have a
No idea.
computer. I can Google.
No idea what that is either. I think going back to the House of Dragon stuff. I'm basically going to, what do you call it? I think I'm gonna get the first season, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah, you might
then
do that. You might do that, Q. I think, yeah, you might.
I'll see if I can if I can stomach a whole season and then catch up to the season 2, and hopefully we can discuss a bit more spoilery stuff about season 2
Exactly.
in
Yeah,
the
more
podcast.
like what really is going on or happening in the series, So.
Kind of the stuff we'll do about the boys, like.
Yes, the good stuff.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get season 1. I think I can see it's on Amazon Prime here because I don't have HBO. So I can see Prime has it. The whole season 1 is $32.99. It's not too bad a price for a whole season. You get 1, 2, 3, 4. Why am I counting this? I can just look at the number. You get 10 episodes.
Okay, yeah.
Why am I counting it? So season 1 is 10 episodes, and you got season 2 and so forth. So yeah, I think
that could be good.
Yeah, I mean Matt Smith's in there, and I'm a Matt Smith fan, so
yeah, that's one reason. So
that's enough of a convincing thing to me to pick it up. I don't know any of the other actors or actresses in it though. Like when I look at the cast, maybe I might know them. I'm just not noticing, but pretty much everyone I look at from the cast for it just does not look familiar, and this is not a bad thing. It could be a good thing, but yeah, I don't recognize anyone else except for Matt, but it looks like it could be interesting, so I will do the thing.
I think you should.
I will do the thing, and I will watch it, and then I will see.
Talking about Star Wars, or I just want to mention again. I'm so stuck in his Acolyte thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I said it already. Since they killed off, Carrie and Moss, meaning Trinity, and I was like, no. Why? First episode, really? You had the material. You had one of the best actresses in the series, and you just put her away. A la Game of Thrones, kind of, where they kill off a main character. But anywho, it was like she came back because there's of course things happening. They want to show what happened before, what led up to this, these main characters. Why are they like they are, these twin sisters? So we got to see that. And of course it became a discussion also, since they were in the hands of these witches, that wanted to or took care of them, actually brought them up and everything. But then two of them were, and again, two of them, like one of the leader witches and the other one they were like a couple. They were lesbians. And of course this became also a big topic, regarding the series. Like, we talked about that before when it comes to how Disney choose to, present certain things and a message or whatever have you in the series. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind. Don't get me wrong here, but it was kind of typical. I was like, okay, they put that into the series as well. Got it.
It's like a checklist kind of thing. It's like I find a lot of what I've noticed with Disney is a lot of their shows are made with checklists, not by does this fit the content you're making. And I think with Star Wars, from I think what a lot of fans were upset about is that how they sort of like created these new characters is that these two girls were created using the Force essentially, and then impregnated into one of these ladies.
Exactly.
It's kind of a thing where if you're an old school Star Wars fan, you understand that Anakin Skywalker was supposed to be the only person who was ever born from using, metachlorians or whatever have you from the Force. He was like a Force baby, like, Jesus. But then you have these two girls who are like, because their storyline is set before Anakin. It's sort of like they precede him, and then it's sort of it sort of like weakens his story, if in a sense. It's like, oh, he's not as special, like they've done it before, and I think when it comes to doing prequels, or telling stories about a piece of media that is so heavily like appreciated by a lot of people, I think there's a certain responsibility that developers or showrunners and stuff have when it comes to handling stuff, and that's with movies or games. It's like, if you're taking on a long running series, you have to consider, hey, what was the original about, and what the fan base like about the original, and the story and everything, and then sort of like mold what you want to create around that to amplify that, not to reduce what that was, because then you sort of, if you create something that reduces what the originals did, then you sort of weaken that overall story in its totality. And what's the point of that? In the end, you hurt the original stuff, and you hurt the potential of your new stuff, because the original fans are not going to like your new stuff, and the newer fans are just going to hate the original stuff, or they're going to find the original stuff a bit unnecessary. So you basically shot yourself in the foot. The smartest thing to do is to enhance the original stuff, so people enjoy the new stuff. The original fans enjoy the new stuff as well, and the new fans enjoyed this new stuff, and then are much more likely to go and engage with the original stuff as well. So but that's not what Disney seems to be doing.
Well said. I want to fill in, because I totally agree with you. Again, well explained. You have me on this 100%, Captain. And no, I'm the captain. Okay, we're not going to.
I'm the captain now.
Fencing. Yeah, okay. No, but jokes aside, because I've talked about, for example, also the Halo series. Remember?
Yeah.
Now it's a pause on that, but that they've made like those kind of mistakes where they did not like take care of the pearl that they have.
I know,
when it comes to quite a strong lore, around the universe of the Master Chief and the whole Halo universe. As Isaac said, if they wanted, I mean, I can understand. You get in there, you want to be creative, you want to add you into it also as a producer, and everything that has to do with the story and everything. But you got to be really careful, because it's a kind of thin line between being creative within the story or the lore, if you will, but you can also easily like smash it a bit. Like it's like stepping on a sensitive flower that is quite rare. Oh shit, I broke it, sorry. Okay.
I've destroyed it.
Things like that, and it's just because if they would have been like, I don't know, smart, if that's the word I'm searching for, then they could have followed the first Halo game story wise, more or less, and done something about that, and all the fans would be like, worship,
That's it. So, and you get new fans who are more likely to go and partake in the games, where they then watch the show, and and a good example of that is Cyberpunk. When they released Cyberpunk, was it Edge Runner or whatever, the animated series on to, I think, was it Netflix or whatever it was on? That thing was so good that the sales for Cyberpunk 2077, the game, they skyrocketed after it came out. The Witcher series, the first season, sales for The Witcher 3 went up after that. And even though that wasn't perfect, it was closer to the source material in the first season. I think they wanted to go a different direction in the second season, and Henry Cavill decided he wanted to leave because he's a fan first, and he was like, look, this is not what The Witcher would do. So Geralt wouldn't do this. I'm not going to be playing this character any further. I'm a big fan of this. Which I salute Henry Cavill. I think he's awesome. He's got character, in doing that. But generally speaking, I think when you make a really good series, you take a good series and then you make a good show for it, people are more likely to go and find the source material. They're more likely to go and say,
Absolutely.
and I'm
Yeah.
one of those people that bought Cyberpunk 2077 after watching the show, because I was on the fence about Cyberpunk. And then I watched the show and I was like, bloody hell, I want to explore this world a bit more. Love below. I'm gonna get my copy.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, that's kind of what you have to do as again, when you are taking on something that has history. You know, you have a huge responsibility in your hands to deliver, and a lot of these newer stuff are just not delivering, and it sucks. You know.
No, but it's true. It's true. I also wanted to fill in though that, and I mentioned this, but I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe if you're hesitating when it comes to like the new live action series, like the Acolyte or similar, you might also. I mean, I've watched a lot of the animated Star Wars series, and many of them have been really, really good. Like good story, everything is really good. And I'm looking forward also to stick my nose into the newest one that was released like in May. You know, Star Wars: Tales of the Empire. Which is the newest animated TV show. I think it focuses on the darker side of the Force, which kind of sounds interesting also. It's young Morgan Elspeth. A witch who we last saw in Ahsoka. Okay. Oh, that's her. I know. As she finds her destiny. Okay, interesting. I will check that out for sure.
I haven't seen Ahsoka, so that's
oh yeah, it's also pretty good actually.
Yeah, I ended up, and again, so because of the fact of how much they've been putting out and how, you know, like some of it has been received, I have just been reluctant to partake in some, and I'm sure there are some really good stuff, like as you mentioned, Ahsoka is good. I've just been a bit reluctant because I'm just like, look, I don't want to ruin my relationship with Star Wars, like the original stuff. And so, you know, it really takes a really good recommendation for me to say, yeah, I really need to partake in this, you know, because
you can't be without those, to be honest. That I can say, really. That's also why I wanted to mention the animated series as well.
They're great.
Because they are great. If I look back to the old Clone Wars, everything like and up to, you know, today also, and then they have been succeeding better than the live ones as a whole, you know.
I think they treat the source material with more respect, and I've seen that as well with like DC. When it comes to DC animated films, they're way better than the live action stuff, and it's because they treat the characters with respect. They understand, the directors or people who create those series understand the characters, and they create the characters in a way that makes sense to those characters. I think a lot of filmmakers, these Western ones, seem to think, well, I'll just create my own character based off of this character, and that's if you're gonna do that, just make a character that's not that character. Just make instead of Batman, make Catman or something. I don't know.
You might be better off doing that, to be honest. Yes.
Yeah,
create your own universe, your own story, and let's see if it floats.
If it's good enough, it will. If it's not good enough, then it will suck and people wouldn't like it, and then that just shows that what you have created is not good enough. You know, if you create something, and if you create an original story and it's not well received by the majority, chances are you probably made crap. Chances are,
could be hint.
So that's with that, with regards to what I've been watching this week, I'll just say I've been watching this show called, I haven't been watching a lot of like proper telly, outside of like the odd anime that I watch here and there. I've been watching something called Superstructures, Engineering Marvels with Ty. This is like a National Geographic documentary series on Disney Plus that we've been watching. It's about 6 episodes, so it's not long. I think Disney Plus only has 1 season, which is kind of one of the most annoying things about Disney Plus. It only seems to have 1 season of a lot of the shows that it has access to, which kind of weirds me out, because I'm like, why do you only have 1 season? And some of the stuff is missing. So, like for example, within the 1 season that they have access to, there are some episodes that we don't see in our when we scroll through. But when I look on you know, like IMDb, I see some episodes that are there. So it's like, it's kind of strange that they didn't include this. But
that's weird.
It's an engineering documentary series, about 45 minutes long each, and they just go over a bunch of different things. Like for example, the space station. It's all about giant, large structures. So like one of the coolest ones we watched was one called the Ultimate Cargo Ship, and it's this ship that literally it sinks into the ocean. So it can lower itself into the ocean like a sub, but like partially with the front and the back kind of stays above water, and then it can carry stuff. So it basically moves oil rigs and stuff like that in the ocean. It's massive, this massive ship, and it's like really cool. Then there was one about this Soviet Union plane created in Ukraine. That's the biggest plane in the world, and they use it to like ship cargo of like giant tanks and stuff like that. It's absolutely massive.
Wow.
You know, the maximum takeoff weight of it is like 640 tons. It's just, when you look at the episode about it and the images of it, it's like this thing is enormous, you know, and especially if you know what a plane looks like a regular plane, you're like, those things are big, right? Especially the ones that go intercontinental. This thing makes those things look like babies. It is huge. So
gigantic.
It's a good series. We've been watching it. They've got a lot of different topics in there. The Burj Khalifa is one. They've got the Wolfsburg Volkswagen car plant in Germany. They've got the Singapore National Stadium and so forth. So they've just a lot of giant stuff, just sort of going over that kind of thing. And it's just a really nice documentary series. Netflix, IMDb has it at a 7.4. I'll give it a solid 7. I don't want to give it higher than that because I haven't watched enough episodes. Like Ty's mostly been watching, and I've been like with him. The ones I have watched, I did enjoy. But I'll give it a solid 7. Maybe when I watch the rest of it and I catch up, maybe I might think it's an 8. But I think it's still good. I think it's a good watch. I think with the time, you know, it's with the 45 minutes that I sat down watching them. So that's been my watching for the week.
By the way, I have to okay, because as you know, football. Have you been watching any EU football?
Yeah, I've watched some. I've watched
European Championship.
I've watched Euros, and England is bad.
Yes. Yes.
England
I've been watching
is
some.
they're quite bad. Poland got knocked out. And
I saw that.
Having Polish family, it's quite the thing, you know. But the Polish national team is just not that good. But they did hold France to a draw. France has stumbled, so they came in second in their group. So they're now gonna have to go through and play a tougher team, the Netherlands or England or somebody. Portugal seems to be doing okay. They always seem to turn up when they need to. Cristiano Ronaldo seems to do what he has to do every now and then, even though he hasn't scored any goals, but he's provided assists. I have been watching Copa America as well. I have been
that as well. Okay.
Yeah, because it's going on at the same time, and it's more my birth region, I guess you can call it. So I have been watching a few stuff from there. Copa America is a lot tougher than the Euros because it's a lot more physical. The refs don't call some fouls. Like there's one play that would normally get called foul in Europe that happened to Vinicius Junior for who's a Real Madrid player. He plays for Brazil, and this player literally Vinny's running the ball in the box, and this guy just runs into him and just barges him off the ball, and he falls to the ground. And the aggression that this guy barges him with, you know, this sort of like you usually just expect that's a foul. But in Copa America, they're like, look, the ref is like, look, get up, let's go. It's like, no, we don't do that stuff here in South America. Get your butt up, let's go. Right?
Wow.
So it's a lot more physical. It's a lot more like old school, you know, like old school football where you would see the grit and players would have to ride tackles and all this sort of stuff. You see a bit more of that in Copa America. So it's quite intense, quite interesting to see that dynamic between South America and it's not South America alone now. It's South America, North America, and the Caribbean, along with Europe. So seeing how the Americas and Europe handles the beautiful game differently is quite interesting in that regard. So Yeah, I have been watching football.
Yeah, cool.
Who do I think is going to win?
I'm asking because I've been doing the same actually.
Mhm.
I think some of the matches has been quite entertaining.
Mhm.
I also watched two of the bigger teams meeting. That was a few days ago, and I'm talking about Spain and Italy.
Ooh, Spain looks good.
I can tell you, Spain was, yeah, they were way better.
They look good.
Italy had a really hard time to get anywhere when it comes to the offensive part of the play. It was, Spain was good. I think they're gonna do well this time around. German has been looking quite solid, but also, it's early on here, but we'll see what's gonna happen later on. But
I think the pressure is on Germany though, because they're playing at home.
Yes,
they have to do well. They have to at least make it to the final. So I could see Germany in the final. I could see Spain in the final. I, obviously living in the UK, you hear the English singing "Football's coming home." It ain't going nowhere. It's not coming here. It's just not coming.
No, I
here.
don't think they will win. I mean, they will most likely, at least I believe, now when they are, we're getting into the next part of the game, so to speak, do better, better results. But they have been, as you said, you also mentioned France stumbling, but they have been they've had a hard time to get that kind of playing without really a good team confidence, if that makes sense. They have a lot of good players, superstars, whatever have you, but they are not really, getting together as a team in the way you should expect, I guess. Maybe that will come. We'll see.
Good players, not a good team. That's basically what I'd call England. Really good players, not a good team. That aside, let's talk about some Fijima games. And I guess since we mentioned football, I have played a bit of eFootball over the past week. They've done a new update to the game. I can't remember what
again.
I can't remember the number for the update for this one right now, but I've been playing it. It's a bit better than the last update. They've changed a bit of how some of the things work in the game. So you can now essentially earn badges from completing stuff. So they sort of like created new reasons to like for players to play the game and do certain acts in the game.
Okay.
I think the game is out to get me because one of the badges I'm after is a 5-game win streak. And literally every time I get to that 5th match, they gave me some ridiculous person that wins or draws the match against me, which ruins my and they don't count a draw as you continue the streak, which I think it should. I think if a loss should break your streak, a draw should just pause it. They don't count that. If I get a draw, I have to start all over again. I have to beat 5 people in a row again, and it's irritated. So I have not gotten that one. And the most unfortunate thing is every time I'm doing that streak thing, whenever I log in to play E, someone in my family calls me. It's either Alex or my brother or my sister or someone. Someone calls me just as I'm in the middle of the streak, or someone comes into my room and they ask me questions, and then I don't win the streak, and I suffer.
You lose your focus.
Yes. That aside, what I have been actually playing a bit more of is Marvel's Midnight Suns on the Steam Deck. I have popped up my Steam Deck again, and I just want to say Steam needs to really push the Steam Deck. Like we actually took the Steam Deck with us to the beach today. As Ty his school had that sort of like school trip, and I took the Steam Deck with me so that I could use it, I guess, just as an option. I always like to have backup options just in case. In the end, Ty was the one using it. He was playing on it. I was reading a book while on the coach. And what happened was his friends and the coach, and when they all saw he was playing something, like, what is that? What is that? So they're all like asking questions and stuff. And, one of them was like, is that a Switch? Is that a Nintendo Switch? And Ty obviously, he's what's that word for? He's transcended that level of gaming knowledge. He's like, no. As the way he speaks to them, it's like, oh, you peasants, how dare you ask those questions to me? He's sort of like, he dismisses them and sort of will be like, just his tone, I'm listening to him, and I'm kind of chuckling internally as I'm listening to him, because he's responding to them in this sort of way like, no, it's not a Switch, it's a Steam Deck. It's like
Oh,
And
that's great.
these
Yeah.
other kids, they don't know what it
You
is.
peasant, you. It's a Steam
Peasants.
Deck.
It's a Steam Deck. What are you talking about? A Switch is completely different. Don't you know the difference? So I was just laughing until I couldn't laugh out loud. Some kids were like, "Oh, Ty's playing an Xbox in the front there," like all the kids would, I think if the teachers weren't up there and they were allowed to, they'd also like move to that section on the coach where we were. So yeah, he literally he did get a bit of a coolness level. To be honest, I don't think he's not cool in school. I think he is cool because a lot of kids, call out to him and all that kind of stuff. And, I think he does have a bit of a coolness factor to him. But yeah, he's sort of like, what are you guys talking about? Especially some of the kids were trying to get his attention while he's playing, and he's like, yes, what do you need? Kind of like just like, can't you see I'm playing video games here? What is wrong with you?
Busy.
Very busy. So generally speaking, I've popped up my Steam Deck again. I've been using it, and I just want to say Valve needs to promote the crap out of that device because honestly speaking, the Steam Deck is amazing. And the way, I think also for people who have Steam accounts, having a Steam Deck kind of encourages you to get more games because one, Steam always has sales. You see games for as low as like 53 pence and stuff. They're like really, really low cost. And then you can also buy keys on like websites like CD Keys and all these other sort of like key sites, G2A and all that kind of stuff. Right. You save a lot of money getting Steam games, but also just being able to play those games on the go. That is the game changer. That's the thing, is that sort of like, wow, this is amazing, right. It's just sort of like the most exceptional sort of like aspect of it. So easily Steam is just an exceptional sort of platform. And I think the Steam Deck is pretty cool. So my game of the week I want to talk about is not necessarily a game. It's more the Steam Deck. I want to shout out my Steam Deck.
Yeah, the platform. Yeah, right.
I think it's amazing on Steam. I'm genuinely just trying to repurchase a lot of games that I have on other platforms on Steam. Because one, it's cheap. For example, like I got Soul Calibur 4 on Steam, and that cost me like about £4 or something. It was just pocket change.
Okay.
But when you buy it on Steam, you get the version I have on Xbox. I just have like the base game. The Steam version, the one that I picked up on Steam, comes with all the DLC. So I get all these extra characters that I didn't have before. I can now jump in and just mess about with. And I think that is fun. That's really, really fun to be able to jump in there. You get extra characters and so forth. So Steam version of almost everything usually tends to have a lot of extra stuff. There's currently a Bandai sale going on, up to 90% off on their games. And as a JRPG player, I just want to shout out a few of the games that I think you guys should probably check out on there that are really well priced. Tales of Arise is one of them. I would say easily, definitely try to pick it up if you can. I would say Code Vein, even though I have not really properly played Code Vein, but from other fellow JRPG friends of mine, I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I would recommend it through their experience. I'd say also One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Easily a good pickup. I would say though, try to see if you can purchase the Ultimate Edition, maybe off Steam, because the Ultimate Edition goes for, let's see how much it's going for. It's going for $74.99 on Steam. Don't buy that price. I would also not recommend buying the Deluxe Edition, which is $12.80, because you have a bunch of DLC that you would probably want to play if you're a One Piece fan. So I would say look for the Ultimate Edition. I think you can get on CD Keys for somewhere around £30, which I would say is worth it for Pirate Warriors 4. Tekken 7, also a good pickup. Scarlet Nexus is also a really good pickup as well. Ni no Kuni, if you can get Ni no Kuni 1 and 2, both really well priced. Ni no Kuni 2 is around £10. Ni no Kuni 1 is somewhere around 1, if I'm correct. I think that one was going for like £5 or something. It's really cheap.
Oh yeah.
Tales of Berseria. If you can get all the Tales of games on Steam, amazing. You got Berseria, Zestiria, Vesperia. I think there's a few others that I'm missing, but they're on there. Digimon Cyber Salute, also a really good pickup. $6.99 right now, really good price.
Okay.
So I just say there's a lot of if you're into JRPGs or anime games, there's a lot of them right now currently on sale at the moment. Shout out to Bandai Namco and the stuff that they do. I'm not the biggest Bandai Namco fan, but I will say when it comes to anime and JRPGs, they do tend to have some really good stuff. Even if they do really lean on those microtransactions. But if you pick up their games a few years or a few months after release, you do get a good deal when you grab those deluxe editions and so forth. So yeah, Steam has some sales. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. And if you have a Steam Deck or if you are thinking about it, I recommend it. The Steam Deck is awesome.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's about it for me in gaming.
Yeah, talking about Steam, because I just was thinking, when is the Steam sale starting? And it's actually tomorrow when it comes to, the summer sale 2024. So it's starting tomorrow at, I think it's 10 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, it's time to, I gotta check it out actually. Even though, as you and I have talked about before, I mean, I still have games I haven't played, so sometimes stupid just to buy it again. Oh, I want that game, and then you realize, oh, I don't have the time to play it. We'll see about that though. But I just wanted to put it out there so you know that you can check out the Steam sale tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely a good idea to do that. And again, the Steam Deck, as I say, for me, I find the Steam Deck has allowed me to start playing a bit of those games that I've had that I haven't picked up in a while.
That's cool.
So having that Steam Deck has sort of like, it's like that extra nudge, because you can take it with you and on the go, you can, make yourself comfortable and so forth. And yeah, games like, as I say, going back to Midnight Suns and trying to complete that on the Steam Deck. Lumen's Remastered is great on the Steam Deck. I've been playing a bit of that as well. And a few others. I've even jumped to Street Fighter 5 on there, and that's fun. So shout out to the Steam Deck. It is cool. It is really cool being able to play some of these games in handheld mode and just taking your Steam Deck with you everywhere. It's not perfect, obviously. I think Valve needs to do a bit more development on the Steam Deck and to improve a few things about it. But it is damn good. It is damn good, if I do say so myself. Raj, you have been playing a game that we've spoken about a few times on the podcast. You want to tell us a bit more about it?
Sure. I guess you're referring to the finals, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
I read the show notes.
Wait, we've been talking about so many games that I can't remember what I put up on the show notes like last week or the week before. That is true. The finals. It's actually season 3. The finals is a free-to-play multiplayer online shooter with its own kind of environmental destruction and quirky characters from light, medium to heavy, and you play in teams of 3. I've talked about this game before. It's developed by Embark Studios, which is a Swedish gaming studio, and it has been doing. I mean, initially it did really well. I think has been struggling a bit when it comes to the identity and who's gonna play in the long run and whatnot. But I was glad to see that, because I don't play this game like all the time. I come and go. That goes for many games on the other hand when it comes to my gaming habits or schedule. But they just 1 or 2 weeks ago they released season 3, and I think they have been thinking carefully when it comes to what should we do now, what is the next step here. And well, they added, for example, a good map. It's like a Kyoto 1568 map. Old, Kyoto is the old Japanese city outside of Tokyo. I actually been there. It's really Shogun style. Beautiful. So the setting is nice, good terrain, bamboo forest, all these houses and whatnot, and it plays well. They have added, I think they did that into season 3, or was it just before, another game mode as well. There's still things that they could do to broaden, you might say, the player base, I guess. I've always said that it might be also good to, bring in some well-proven game modes, maybe TDM or something like that. And I say it just because, a lot of people are playing by themselves, but the finalists are quite unforgiving when it comes to solo queuing, because you're only 3 in the team, and if one guy is leaving, you have a problem, you have to wait another guy's coming in. Usually at that point you have lost the match, because it's objective game modes, right? It's very objective, it's quite competitive, even though we're talking about the casual part, not like the ranked and everything. So but they've done good changes. They added some new gadgets and stuff, and they also have a lot of things when it comes to customization for those that are really into that. since it's free to play, of course, you have monetization and you pay for those things, or you can grind, and you can, of course, get stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as a whole, I think the game, I just felt when I played season 3 or the start here, I did stream it once. I felt that, well, they do deserve, because I've been quite harsh also in the beginning when it comes to things I think they missed out on. And it was also one of those games that came out and the netcode, the performance wasn't that great. And, we're talking about a fast-paced shooter here. It has to be on spot. So, I've been a bit harder with those kind of things, but I think they did something good here when it comes to season 3. So I'm curious to see how they, how should we put it, continue that kind of design and thread further into the life cycle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that are really, really playing the game and enjoying it, I'm more like one of those visitors coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the players will stick to the game and everything like that. It's so many that are struggling with this.
Mm-hmm.
I talked, for example, my oldest son, Adam, who's a game developer. One of his old mates, or from when he grew up here in Älta, where I live, they were just fired. The whole studio. They have been working. I think they lost like 3.8 million US dollars. They just bankrupt. All this work with the game. It was like a kind of a Valorant CS:GO shooter, if you will. And they came far. They came far with the game, and then it just stopped. So I hope he's doing well now, looking for another job as a game designer.
I think that's the thing though as well though, is a lot of I don't blame the developers per se, because it's their job. It's more the studio heads and stuff that make these sort of decisions on what they pursue. But I think too many developers try to pursue what they see as a cash cow, so like when microtransactions started to be a big thing, you found every developer was trying to find every way to put microtransactions in their game, and it ruined a lot of games that were could otherwise have been great games, but they forced these microtransactions into them. I think thinking of one example, probably like Star Wars Battlefront, for example, which was ruined due to microtransactions. But generally, right now it seems to be the crave is to follow the sort of like the sort of like online multiplayer, sort of like Overwatch style, sort of Call of Duty style gameplay. But what I think what a lot of these developers that are or publishers that are doing these things are not understanding is that essentially they there's only so much. There's only so much people can spend. There's only so much time people can play, and when you have an oversaturated market of everyone making the same type of game, what you tend to have is people just not interested. People just leave because they have they're just like, not that the game isn't good, because a lot of these games do look good. Like I look at the finals and I think this game looks great, but like you're competing against Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Fortnite. You're not gonna win against Fortnite because the community that
Apex,
Apex. I forgot about Apex as well, and there's Valorant as well. So when you consider all of these players in the market that have established themselves and so forth, what are the odds that people are gonna drop those games to pick you up if, again, their community's there, their friends are there, everyone else that they know is there? There's the odds of someone just saying, hey, I'm going to play this game that's great, but no one I know is playing it, is low, and then as well, it's like, how do you convince all your friends, oh, I like this game, it's cool, let's all just move to this? It's like, it's really hard, it's really difficult.
It is hard. No, you're really right about this. And that's also, I've talked about another free-to-play shooter that was released quite recently by Ubisoft. We're talking about X-Defiant. It has been blown up. It has blown up quite some. But I have to be honest and say that I think one of the reasons is because there's a lot of, please forgive me saying this now, but a lot of Call of Duty refugees tryhards that are playing the game, because it has also been, you know, a big thing just because it doesn't have like skill-based matchmaking. And I mean, the game is decent. I say decent because I think it's it is not like super good or anything. And now it's going to be interesting to see, though. We talked about, you know, the continuation because it's just been pre-season. The first season 1 in XDefiant is going to start next week, I believe. So let's see how that plays out. And they are still struggling with the performance. They have done some improvements for sure. I think some of the things they're doing well is that they kind of listen in quite well. I mean, Mark Rubin, that's behind the game, is a former Call of Duty developer, so I think he knows, you know. He's learned from mistakes as well from before. So they are doing some changes that are good and everything. But I mean, in the long run, in the long haul, they are planning, you know, so that XDefiant is going to be a game that's going to be around in like 1-2 years as well, for sure. That I can see, and that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, the hype that was created. I mean, I saw the trailer also when it comes to, you know, this year Treyarch is behind the new Call of Duty game, and they have been doing, in my personal opinion, if we're talking Call of Duty, since it has been on a, it's had its problems, but they have been doing the best ones, I think, even so. And now with the new Omni movement, I'm not sure if you saw the gameplay trailer, there's something new coming into play where you can literally run in all directions, jumping, shooting at the same time, and so on. And this is something new that will probably make put a new standard into FPS gaming to a certain extent. Not like super groundbreaking, but it's definitely a leap forward once more. And so that's got to be a thing. And what I mean by that, then we will see how well a smaller title, if you will, even though it's made by a $3 billion company such as Ubisoft, I'm talking about XDefiant, how it will do after the release of Black Ops 6. I'm talking about Black Ops 6, which is the upcoming title. Because I mean, again, I saw the gameplay trailer and it looks very interesting. This Omni movement looks really, really cool. It puts a lot of freedom. It has some smart AI thing in there also. So the animations, when you do these advanced movements also within the Omni movement, how do you say, coding or whatever have you, it looks impressive. So what I'm trying to say is, what happens, as you were pointing towards Q, what happens then Black Ops 6 releases also is it October or something like that?
Yeah, it's going to be free to play.
Still be around for one of these smaller games?
It won't, because this is the first time Microsoft has bought Activision. This is going to be part of Game Pass, so it means everyone who has an Xbox,
and that is huge.
It's a massive thing, because everyone who has an Xbox can play this game just straight off of Game Pass, and not just Xbox but also PC, because there's PC Game Pass as well. So essentially, PC players and Xbox players are gonna just, I already have Game Pass, I'll just pay, I'm paying for this monthly subscription. I get Call of Duty with that. I can play my Call of Duty. I don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. I can do the campaign and so forth. You are gonna have a huge amount of people that are gonna jump onto this, because I mean, Call of Duty is massive. I mean, when you just consider how well those games have sold over the years and continue to sell consistently at a specific rate, I think it's gonna be amazing. I think genuinely Call of Duty is going to eat up the lunch of a lot of these other games that are trying to exist in this space. And I think what a lot of these developers are doing is wasting their potential, because at the end of the day, you are probably not likely to take this Call of Duty crowd, because even if you consider, like, for example, the players that play Fortnite are not usually the Call of Duty guys. The people who are playing Fortnite are kids. Most of the majority of people who are playing Fortnite, I'm not saying that adults don't play Fortnite, but a huge majority of the people who play Fortnite are younger kids, because it appeals to them. The look of it, the feel of it, all of it, it's targeted towards their demographic, essentially. The Overwatch crowd, that's a demographic. The people that play Overwatch are not usually people that play Call of Duty. The people that play Call of Duty, those are Call of Duty guys, right? They play Call of Duty, that's their thing, and so forth. It's the same with FIFA guys and eFootball guys. FIFA guys play FIFA. It doesn't matter what eFootball puts out, they will play FIFA. And it's the same with eFootball. eFootball guys play eFootball. It doesn't matter what actually FIFA, I mean FC, because they've rebranded, but you know what I mean. FC guys just play FC.
It's eFootball. True.
So
it's very
when you have something else coming in, and this is not me saying like you shouldn't have competition in the market. You should, but keep in mind, if you're looking to come and compete in the market, you have to come in with something that is unique, that is going to get people interested in coming and playing your game. That is going to sort of like get essentially battle in a way that makes sense. You know, like I think the battle between eFootball and FIFA for years has been along the line of like FIFA being that very arcadey sort of like quick, easy get in and get out kind of game, and eFootball being a super ultra realistic sort of like type of football sim. And that's been the battle they've done. They've changed it up a bit now where they're kind of competing in the same area. But I think with Call of Duty and so forth, with this sort of like shooter area, there's just too many shooters. Like
yes, it's got to be hard. And I think you're on because the thing is right now, for example, when there's been after Treyarch or Activision, they released this trailer, and I think also there was an indication, because I think it got more views than any Call of Duty trailer has gotten in many years. And that also shows something. And I think the big game breaker or changer here is what you just pointed out, but it has to do with the Xbox Game Pass. Because when especially people that are playing or enjoying XDefiant a lot, they're saying, well, because what they did when XDefiant was about to be released, it has been having problems. It wasn't released when it was supposed to. Is that they of course, this is a thing on YouTube also to get like clicks and everything. They call it a Call of Duty killer. It will never be a Call of Duty killer. I made a video, kind of going into that, just explaining it's not, for many reasons. And I can see some upset voices also, especially when you have some guys being very much like fanboys of the game, meaning XDefiant. They want to believe it's the best all the time, even though it has its problems as well. And Call of Duty has that too. But Call of Duty is this main franchise, and I think the difference this time around, this year, when they say, well, they are similar, sure, they compete in the same space, but they can maybe, because it's because XDefiant is free to play, it can still be an alternative and whatnot. But then they missed the point here. Black Ops, as you said, it will be released on Xbox Game Pass. That's almost like being free to play for a lot of people that are already on Xbox Game Pass. And it will have a huge impact. I mean, sure, the game can flop if they do something really weird, but I don't think they will. So with that said, it's going to attract a lot of players. I mean, granted, we know already it's going to sell, because even though the last year they haven't done, also in my eyes or my book, haven't done the best games. I mean, the best games has already been made in the series, in my opinion, way back. But even so, they are selling, because it's the brand. It's Call of Duty, right? It's like some people just have decided that they will buy Levi's jeans, even though they are more expensive than the ones lying on this table, because it's Levi's. They want them,
It's a brand name. And I think the thing as well, what will help this as well, is that this game is going to be on essentially everything, but it being on Xbox and on Windows, and the fact that you can, if you play games on PC Game Pass, and on Xbox Game Pass, if you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. Is that beauty of being able to just like start a game on your PC and just continue playing on the Xbox, or start on the Xbox and jump back to the PC, is, I can't undersell or how like amazing that is, because especially and I think this matters a lot for Call of Duty, because if you're a first person shooter person, maybe you play Call of Duty the campaign, which I think for a lot of people that's going to be a huge thing. Their campaign is back and it's going to be amazing. So you play the campaign maybe on your Xbox, maybe you're sitting in the living room, you don't have to worry about, you can auto lock on and all that kind of stuff in the campaign, but you want to go competitive, and you go to your PC where you have a mouse and keyboard where you can properly aim and do amazing things. You don't have to create a new account or do anything. You just literally just jump over and continue from where you left off. It's the same account, it's the same everything. I think that's going to be a huge push for people. I think a lot of people are going to be like, yeah,
True.
this is good. This makes sense for me. You know, I'll pay for Game Pass. I'm getting the online multiplayer. I can jump in and play as I see fit. Some people just pay the full price, you know, and Call of Duty is expensive.
Yeah.
It's like £100 or something for Call of Duty right now. Like
Oh yeah, it is expensive. But I also think what you just described, again, hopping on having the Xbox Game Pass, some of these guys will also, if they like what they see or feel, they will buy the game. So it kind of leads them into, I mean, I know some guys are doing that. Even though they have the Xbox Game Pass, they want to own the game, so to say, that they are playing a lot. So then they buy it. So that's also a channel into actually getting more sales and numbers, right? So interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to see what happens here in the beginning of the fall and everything.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Yeah, but bro, man,
we've gone over time.
Look
so,
at that now. Yeah.
But it was a wonderful conversation. I think we made up for like that week that we missed. But
I think so too.
So yeah,
a bit of extra.
A little bit of extra for the listeners. Yeah. So, Raj, how about we say goodbye to the listeners? I think I could pull my curtain now. I think my sunlight is gone. Is it?
Yeah, you might do that.
No,
look at that now.
It's still bright.
No, maybe not yet.
It's still too bright out there. Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching this live and being on YouTube, appreciate it a lot. If you did, please give a like on the video and everything. It helps us out. It's a beautiful thing to do. And take care now. Stay healthy. As I always say, I hope you got some good tips when it comes to a bit of TV stuff and, of course, also gaming that we love to talk about. So until next week, I hope we meet up and take care and muffin out.
Beautiful as always. With that, guys, thank you very much for coming around. I say guys as if everyone here is a dude, you know, but you know what I mean. With that, everyone, thank you very much for coming around and listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. As always, you can find Raj at 40 Swiss Splash. That's the number 40 with the SPLISH. He streams on a Tuesday and a Sunday. That's correct?
That is correct. You said Tuesday and Sunday, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, thank you. It connected slow for me here.
Yeah, so same. My brain was kind of like processing it as I've got things on my mind.
Exactly.
But yes, you can find me at LP Garden as well. LPGRDIN. That's Guardians.eu. Pretty much everywhere else. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can actually see it's on the screen, so you don't really need to hear me saying it. You can find us also at Simply Binge or at Simply Binge UK. Pretty much everywhere else. And as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss on any episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like to subscribe to this podcast on Acast, Spotify, iTunes, simplybinge.com, and elsewhere. YouTube Music as well. And we're so confident they're going to like it that we're giving away for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. And it's a wrap. That's the episode. My throat is hurting me. I've been coughing so much. Cough. I really need to. I've got like this medicine that I've been taking.
I heard a bit started, and you didn't have any water. Oh, that's the medicine. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm saving the rest of it for tonight though, because I need to fall asleep. So
yeah. Okay, good.
I'm gonna save it for tonight. So that's gonna be it. But yeah, it's been an episode. Oof.
It's been an episode. It was good to talk again. It was some time